heartbeat of motorsport.
Strong Alex Martin is. I was with him over in Italy last year in Tenacious, and he's just a very tenacious, strong rider.
And it's going to work for him. He gets the win, and that is going to end it for Hill and the Alta. He did get a win in his round last year against Kyle Cunningham, but he's up against the full factory Charlie Designs Red Bull KTM there, and he's going to, unfortunately, end his night.
And you see right there, Josh, as he throws it from one side to the other, loses a little bit of forward bite. But Josh has nothing to be ashamed of and so much to be proud of. The guys from Alta got to be stoked. The bike is performing awesome. It's flawless out there. And just, you got beat by one of the top teams. You got to hold your head up, and not by that much.
Well, yeah, Alex Martin is a guy that's capable of podiuming Supercross races. Hill is retired.
Yeah.
He doesn't race full-time anymore. So this is pretty impressive that he's this close.
But you talk about the different riders, and they think it'll freak them out. But once they get on an electric bike, my partner Jeff Benrud had the option to go ride the Alta, and he loved it. And he had such a great time on that bike.
All right, let's go back down to Tina.
Yeah, and Alex, you know, you were almost battling it back and forth there with the electric bike. Even a hard hit there halfway through. Just take us through that and how you kept up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. I rode him or went against him earlier today, and I was like, oh my gosh, did you do some upgrades to that thing compared to last year? Like the torque coming off the start and like the torque coming down some of the singles, like the bike's pretty solid. So I was like definitely a little bit nervous, and I missed that quad over there, so I was like, I gotta be on my game and up the aggression a little bit. But yeah, I would be lying if I wasn't say I was sweating a little bit, but it's fun out there.
Yeah, and Ricky and Jason, already some great racing here in the quarterfinals.
Absolutely, and we'll do it again in the open class. Here is your bracket there. Marvin Muscan, your fast qualifier. He will go against Colton Haker, who is your Enduro Cross champion. On the left side of the bracket, also Tyler Bowers and Kyle Chisholm. That should be a good one between two privateers. And the other side, Brock Tickle against Alex Ray. Josh Hansen against the Frenchman, Thomas Remet. So we're ready for our open class. Primarily 450cc four-stroke. So these will be the biggest, fastest bikes out here. And Muscan is the one with the target on his back as he won last year.
He's never lost here.
He's never lost even a single run.
Right.
Hasn't even had to go into the run of 3. He won the lights class 4 years ago, won the open class last year. Missed it the year in between. He was out with an injury that he was recovering from. But he's been undefeated in every attempt. Now, as for Hager, I got to give this guy credit. Enduro Cross is pretty different than this. It is racing over logs and rocks in an arena, but this guy is no slouch over the jumps. He said he's only 5 days of Supercross practice. He's pretty impressive considering that.
So the key is watch Marvin. He uses his body to his advantage, and he uses his time on the ground. There you can see he does a big hit going into the gator back, and now we're right behind Colton, who actually had a little bit of a get off on the demonstration. So he does this signature 360 move, but it came up a little bit wrong. So hard hit for Colton Hager.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He had to crash in practice, and then he did his big 360 during opening ceremonies. He doesn't have the intensity that he did earlier, and Muscan, that's going to make it easy on him. Big whip from Marvin. Hager comes across, finish his run. Lighting for today's event provided by Musco, the world's leader in sports and mobile lighting for 40 years. At Musco, we make it happen. And they have. The lights are on. The sun has set here in Southern California. We're going to be racing at night. You remember, just like I, the first year when we were at the drag strip on the other side of the Fairplex, we ran it during the day.
It was only like 180 that day
Yes.
with the asphalt and everything. It was unbelievably hot, but it's awesome because there's some night tracks here. I used to be affiliated with Paris Motor Speedway, and we ran Musco lights. You had to. I mean, they are the Band-Aid when it comes to the lights. And as you can notice, when you look down here, there's no shadows. It's the way they come in, and they put a plan together so that there's no empty spots. You know, like sometimes in Vegas at the Supercross final, it gets a little dark up top. But here, on straight rhythm, there's no shadows all the way down, just like noon.
All right, so we are now into full dark. We go to our next matchup. You saw Muscan take down Colton Hager in the first run. This will be interesting. Tyler Bowers there in the 69. The Bear, or the Hulk, as he has on his pants, and Kyle Chisholm. Here we go.
Chisholm with an advantage. You watch that they're not holding the guys ties up tight. They get a little bit of a roll before the gate falls, and I think that's because of the expanded metal. They want to make, Chisholm with a hard hit. And that's going to give Bowers the advantage that he was looking for.
In both cases, but Bowers not as bad. So Bowers, your 5-time arena cross champion, who has been racing Supercross the last few years, trying to hold it down. This would be the type of event I think Bowers could excel in. He has great style on the bike. And Chisholm is still in it, despite casing that jump. Chisholm's still charging, so Bowers got to keep his head down, and he gets to the finish. Bowers, one of the biggest, strongest riders out here.
I was just going to say, this was like the heavyweight class between him and Chisholm. They're the two biggest guys. You look at how small Marvin looks. Marvin's short body, long legs, so he's not that short, but he looks really tiny when he's on the bike, and it seems to be an advantage for him, but I just don't know how fast these 450s are. I want a little more meat on me.
Yeah, that's another problem for Bowers, and also Chisholm's one of the tallest riders. We'll go to the other side of the bracket. Here is Brock Tickle, only a few weeks into his new gig with Red Bull KTM, up against Alex Reyes on the cycle trainer on February Yamaha.
Ray really strong out of the gate. He kind of jumped in a little bit quick, but now we see Tickle just being a little bit cleaner. Back to what I was talking about. We saw Ray, but now he gets the advantage down into the gator pit.
They exchanged mistakes there, and Ray has the edge on Tickle right now. Now, Ray has been improving tremendously, a popular privateer, but under the wing of Davey Millsaps, as of late, lost a lot of weight, got in shape. Oh, but Tickle has been able to retake the lead. And will Tickle be able to hold on?
Couple step on, step off, and it's awesome how they just win all the way across the field. Tickle brings it home.
But credit to Ray for going up against the full factory machine of Tickle and actually taking the lead from him momentarily. And they'll be back for another run. Have to win 2 to advance to the next round. And Tickle takes a glance down at the heart rate monitor, the watch there on his left wrist.
He might have an Apple Watch. Maybe he just got a page from his dad or something back east, letting him know that everything is good back home. And
maybe some tips.
Good luck, son.
Don't case that jump. Text that. Okay, so our next run will be Josh Hansen. A lot of people pumped on his chances here against the Frenchman. Number 6 is Thomas Remet. And the shift hole shot goes to the shift syndicate rider at the shift gear. Hansen, hole shot is the first 100 yards. And it's critical in a short race like this to get that jump.
Remet making a play back. You can see Josh looks pretty relaxed. I think he needs a round to warm up. Looks like he's just going to as he cases a little bit. Remet makes a comeback, and then Josh quads that and makes a lot of ground.
Here we go, Hansen and Remet. Surprisingly close, but that quad really helped Hansen get away. Stretch run. Hansen has Remet covered. And that's cool seeing these Frenchmen come over. Remet's teammate, Cyril Coulon, was here also, but in qualifying he didn't make the top 8. We'll have Haker coming up in a moment again against Musquin, but we'll show you the kind of stuff this guy is capable of in his regular style of racing. I don't know if Haker's coming back out. Like I said, his run that he did against Musquin, that wasn't full speed for Haker, so I hope he's okay. I hope the bike's all right. Hager is the Enduro Cross champion. That's where they lay down logs, rocks, water, crossings, everything you race on in the woods and the desert, but they do it in arenas. So congratulations to Hager as your champion there, but I think he's going to make discretion the better part of valor here.
Well, and I'm going to say the same thing that I said about Josh Hill. No shame in Colt Hager coming out here and giving it a go.
Yeah.
He had a small crash, and then he had a situation in the opening ceremony. But he's a gamer. I love this guy. Gets out there, does King of the Motos, does the hard enduros, does all that different stuff. And as you said, he's a champion in Enduro Cross. So you're going up against a guy that is $1 million Marvin at this point.
Yeah.
So you can't say anything bad about him.
No, it's really cool to see all these riders from different backgrounds trying it. But there is no question in the background of this man. This is absolutely the wheelhouse of Marvin Musquin. And even on a run where he doesn't have to hustle, going pretty fast.
That's an understatement. Pretty fast is how, I don't know, how quick we can lunch.
Really fast,
but that's really fast when you watch Marvin Musquin at any point.
Boy, is he locked in right now. Marvin Musquin sweeping all 3 main events last week and winning the $1 million. Big season for him in Supercross and Motocross, winning a lot of races. So he continues to up the game. This should be a good one. We had a little mistake from Chisholm against Bowers in their first run. Take that out, and they could be wheel to wheel this time.
Double clutch by Bowers. I'm surprised they're not further forward. You know, the old riding coach up here. Why they're not further forward because they can be a little bit more aggressive on the clutch. But right now it's Chisholm with a slight advantage.
Oh, and stretching it further into the gator pit and out. So Chisholm got that shift hole shot. Bowers gonna have to hustle to make it back. Bowers is doing it though, that big quad.
It's gonna come down to this. How fast can they go through the sand rhythm section?
Chisholm, the veteran, can he hold Bowers at bay and stave off elimination? Can Bowers knock him off?
Did you see that? Bowers completely jumped the whole first tabletop and landed on the second one. So good move by Bowers. That has not been done by anybody tonight, but he still has to go into the third round.
So Chisholm answers the challenge, comes back and beats him. So they will have to have a third race runoff.
Here we see Chisholm out in front, is a little bit cleaner, getting a little more air, but then Bowers starts to fight his way back, and he does something that we have not seen all night long. I don't know if we'll see it in this replay, but as they come up to the finish, right here, as they go through in the sand rhythm section, watch Bowers on the right in the red. They go through the next wall, and then as they charge over the top of that, he clears all the way onto the next tabletop. So great move, but not quite enough.
It closed the gap, but not close enough. And we will have a runoff between those two. Those are two good guys. Going to be fun to watch them battle it out again. Now we've got Brock Tinkle, a bit of a scare there, as Alex Ray was able to wrestle the lead away from him early in their first run. Tinkle came back to win it. Let's see what happens now. Ray is riding hard, and you and I both noticed that also in qualifying.
Yeah, he does not hesitate on the gas. I mean, he's like a toggle switch. He's wide open, and he goes, and he's a big, strong kid, so he's not worried about it. He manhandles the bike, but he's got to finesse it because that's what Brock Tickler's doing, even though Brock just made a mistake.
And that gives Ray an opening to try to get Tickle back. Here we go, halfway through. Now the 100-yard dash to the finish. And Tickle looks like he's got him covered. Can Ray pull something out? Brock Tickle. It's a dud.
Brock Tickle with a double win, and also picking up his time. Last time he went from a 39.8 to a 39.6 to a 38. So Brock Tickle a lot faster. As you can see, he puts the leg off to the side to try to keep the center of gravity down as low as he can, and that's what made the difference between him and Ray.
I had a nice conversation with Brock during a live pre-race show we had last night here at the track, and he said this type of event isn't necessarily his specialty. He's known as a grinder, a guy that just lap after lap gets faster and stronger. So he thinks that this is good practice for him, getting that intensity and that sprint speed.
Well, and that's when you see a lot of bicycle racers. Even though they race, Tour de France or whatever it might be, they got to do the intervals to get their heart rate up and get that testosterone flowing. And this is a great event for Brock Tickle to go into the 2018 Supercross season.
Hansen against Hansen on the 100. Oh! Wow, that's Hansen's style, man. That gets scary. He is front end down quite often. That was really front end down there.
I know, but he just looks over casually from Matt like, hey, bro, what's up? And I'm jumping out of the seat here. And Josh Hansen, as he starts to pull away, as I said before, he looked a little lethargic the first run. Now a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more flowing, and a little bit more speed as well.
Well, even Ken Roxon was saying earlier, Roxon's one of the best in the game, that Hansen is a freak of nature when it comes to this type of riding. The timing, how precise he can be over those jumps, and all in a day's work for him. It scares us to watch it, but he was in complete control, and he eliminates Ramet. So Hansen moving forward.
And watch,
more ways than one.
Watch the front end drop as he looks over.
Wow.
A little bit more than I would like, Josh, but very effective nonetheless. If you have that kind of confidence, because we've seen some riders go down being that confident.
And there is Hansen, who has reason to be confident at an event like this. We'll send it to Tina.
Thanks, Jason and Josh. Just in so much control during that race, almost making it look a little easy. You've always done well here at Red Bull Straight Rhythm. You've beaten Travis Pastrana before. You finished up on the podium last year in third place. But how much do you want the top of the podium this year?
Yeah, I'd really like to win. I really like my bike. I got a great opportunity with Suzuki and having Fox shift, nut up, lunar pages. I'm a very lucky person to be out here. I try on winning. That's my plan.
That's his plan, guys.
And it was funny, Hansen came in here nursing an injury that he had a few weeks ago. Wasn't sure if he'd be able to run, and as soon as everybody saw him ride practice, they're like, yeah, I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, you know, everyone's probably just started that rumor. Just like, oh, don't care. Oh, Josh is hurt. He's not going to be fast.
Off, yeah.
Want to bet?
Yeah. Well, as Muscat said to me yesterday, he said he's injured while he's going quad through that section. So he's going to be one to watch. We're back to Bowers against Chisholm. It's 1-1. They each beat each other one time, so it's winner take all right now.
And will Bowers pull that off again? As we can see, Chisholm has a slight advantage. He gets the quad. They go through the gator pit, and now they start into the supersize. But can Bowers pull that off again? So watch the rider on the left, Tyler Bowers, when the last section is going to be the key.
Well, Bowers is going to need it because Chisholm has him covered right now, about a bike and a half length lead. But here's the section where Bowers might be able to close in. The tabletops. Bowers didn't get it done, and Chisholm, it's moving on into the semis.
And after I was watching off camera, I was looking over watching the track. I don't think it's as quick because you're in the air and he has to pull the bike so hard and do so much work that he's not getting that little squirt off the second tabletop. So it's very cool looking, but I don't think it's as effective.
And look at the analysis. You see all the karate chop hand motions. That's standard motocross. They already are trying to break down what each rider did. Trying to learn from it.
And they're telling it with a two-stroke slang. Rap, rap, rap.
Oh, of course, every time. Let's go back down to Tina, who has Kyle Chisholm.
Yeah, and Kyle Chisholm, that was a race that went to 3. When it goes to 3 races like that, what do you have to figure out?
I mean, just hitting your marks. You know, it's tough. The track's tough. He's got to be precise and get every jump good. I've done this every year they've had it, and I think this is like, I think I've been to a third round every time I've done it. So it's nervous. You know, we each won one, and it comes down to that last one.
Okay, so when you've been here every year, how much do you want to win it this time?
Man, I mean, just as much as every year. It's an awesome race. Eric, Red Bull, everybody does an awesome job with this event. I've done it every year because it's really fun, and hopefully the fans love it, and we put on a good show.
Yeah, you guys so far are putting on a good show. Well, coming up, more exciting head-to-head racing here at Red Bull Straight Rhythm. But first, a look at more athletes who live their lives at